One of the most complex things about our identity is how to define it. We might start with our strengths or what we do for a living, when actually our identity is based on a set of beliefs, or rather a mindset. These mindsets can start off from an early age, childhood, and can carry on throughout life. And if we don't have an identity of who we are, there's a void inside of us that is open to criticism and negativity of others, and these can become limiting beliefs. In this masterclass titled Identity 101, I explore the idea of the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, and a fairly new concept I like to call the evolving mindset. I will also give you some tools that you can use to create an unshakable identity that will evolve and adapt as new challenges come up through life. So buckle up, keep warm, and enjoy this masterclass titled Identity 101. Everybody to the first masterclass that I'll be hosting titled Identity 101, a mindset concept to adapting to life. Alright guys, so what is an identity, right? So you might be thinking, I'm good at golf, I'm a golf player, or I'm a really good architect, I'm an architect. So we base it either on our strengths or what we do for a living, when quite simply it is who you are, right? And the fabric of your identity is woven from a set of beliefs or a mindset that you possess. And as mentioned in the preview, the fibers of this fabric or this set of beliefs can start from as early as childhood, and they will continue to weave throughout your life. You will always be faced with obstacles, with challenges, with circumstances that question who you are and what your identity is, and they challenge your mindset. Alright, when you are young, we don't yet have an identity, right? So you model the behavior of adults, or you remember messages from bullies. Maybe you were called overweight as a child, or you had a speech impediment, and those words that people called you, they stuck with you, and you believed them, so they became part of an identity or a mindset, right? Alright, so from young, all the way through to now, and all the way till you die, these are all choices that you make. And they will become the foundation for your belief system, and ultimately they will become anchoring beliefs. So what is an anchoring belief? From verywellmind.com, an anchoring belief is when people are trying to make a decision. They often use an anchor or a focal point as a reference or starting point. Psychologists have found that people have a tendency to rely too heavily on the very first piece of information they receive or that they learn, which can then have a serious impact on the decisions that they end up making. In psychology, this type of cognitive bias is known as the anchoring bias or anchoring effect. Quite simply put, guys, right? An anchoring belief can start as early as childhood, where a behavior could be reinforced over and over until it becomes a belief system or a fixed mindset. And guys, holding on to the wrong anchoring belief can have negative effects on the way that you live your life, right? Alright. So now we get to mindset. So what is a mindset? As said, it is a set of beliefs that determine what you are capable of, or rather what you believe you are capable of. These beliefs then govern the way that you see challenges. They almost act as a filter. So instead of a challenge, you might see a problem, or instead of seeing something as possible, you might step back and say, this is impossible. And it's the idea that things are happening to you instead of things are happening for you. Alright, your mindset is a choice, guys. Please, I need you to remember this from the start of this class. Your mindset is a choice. You always have a choice. Alright, and adopting a mindset will affect your outcomes in life, as well as your level of happiness. So this is just the mindset. Alright, formed of beliefs. You either believe something is possible or impossible. You either see something as a challenge or a problem, but most importantly, guys, we have choices. Never forget that. All right. Do you have a fixed mindset? Let's find out. So, as said, a fixed mindset is a set of beliefs that can come from an anchoring bias from an early age. Alright, they hold you back. You become the obstacle in the way that you see your challenge or your problem or your next task. You like to stay in a comfortable space with only what you are good at. So again, going back to the idea that you define who you are by what you are comfortable with, what you are good at, your strengths, and that becomes a fixed mindset, right? And then you see the world as the enemy, the idea that things are happening to you instead of things happening for you. In NLP, one thing that we as practitioners are encouraged to remind our clients of is that whatever the mind can do, it can also undo. Meaning that if we have learned a set of beliefs, we can also unlearn them, or rather just replace them with new beliefs. Here are some typical obstacles that could be holding you back with a fixed mindset. Alright, maybe you have emotional insecurity, you don't want to talk about your problems, or when people ask you how you're feeling, you retreat to saying, I'm fine, I'm okay. You never want to open up to people. You might suffer from high anxiety. You might have low self-esteem, low confidence. You might believe that you are not capable of anything. It could be talking to a girl. It could be speaking up in front of people. It's all low self-esteem issues. You sometimes make decisions that result in undesired outcomes, very rash, unthought of decisions, or decisions from a place of comfort. Could be choosing to not speak up at a meeting, choosing to not ask that girl out or guy out on a date, and the undesired outcome is that you didn't get what you wanted. And then another common obstacle is believing that you're better than everyone else. You like to appear smart, when actually you need to be in a space where you are constantly getting smarter and constantly learning, because you can always be better. Alright, and another obstacle is that you are not willing to pick yourself up after a failed venture. And something new, the old thing, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't really believe that. I believe that you can always be learning something new. Alright guys, growth mindset. So here's some key points to adopting a growth mindset, right? The first one is that you need to see the opinions of other people as opportunities for improvement. And once you become more open to this feedback, you don't see it as criticism, and then you continue to increase your potential and what you can achieve. You then become more open to identifying your negative beliefs from your fixed mindset. And once you do this, you can replace these limiting beliefs with new ones. And once you do this, you start to see the world as your ally, and you do not want to give up anymore because you believe that everything is happening for you instead of to you. You start making better choices based on new beliefs and choices that ultimately make you happy. To go back to the mindset, choices that you want for your mindset can make you happy. So guys, this is the evolving mindset concept I'd like to put out there. So it's a new concept to survive an evolving world. It's not something spoke of too much, but I'd like to put it out there. So you need to start by having the tools and framework of a growth mindset when you're implementing this evolving mindset. So in his book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, Vishen Lakhiani compares our systems for living to applications that we would install on our computers. So it could be your operating system, like your big systems, Windows, your Mac operating system, etc. Or there could be other applications like Microsoft Office, maybe accounting apps that you may use, modeling apps, all sorts of things that you would use based on that, all to make your profession or your computer run the way you need it and want it to run. So you need to understand something, is that there will always be challenges in your life, and there will always be bullying in your life. From young till the day you die, it will always be there. Some examples can be emotional bullying. It could be from relationships, both family, common, or even romantic relationships. There will always be some degree of emotional bullying between friends, all sorts of things like that. Career bullying. We see this many, many times, guys. It could be colleagues who might have been there longer than you. It could be your employers who become very bullying towards you if you do something wrong. They don't sit with you and help fix the problem. They criticize your ability, and then you go to work every day feeling that you are not capable to perform your task. Another thing that could challenge you in life is maybe you have a failed business, or maybe you've lost your job somewhere, or a failed relationship. It could be severe, such as a marriage, after years and years, or it could be a new relationship after a few months that fails. All these can just instill limiting beliefs. So an evolving mindset occurs when you understand that the brain can learn new beliefs and new values as you continue to experience all that life has for us. Again, that idea that life is happening for you, not to you. And this idea that the brain can learn new beliefs and values is called neuroplasticity. So what is neuroplasticity? No, the brain is not really plastic, but rather it refers to the brain's ability to change through life. So some circumstances where the brain can change through life is basically where your brain has the amazing ability to reorganize itself by forming new connections between the neurons. So there could be genetic factors from a young age. So the beginning of life, point number one, where your immature brain learns to organize itself. And as you grow up through childhood, you start to model your parents, your friends, your teachers, those sorts of things. Maybe another case, unfortunately, where your brain reorganizes itself is in the case of an injury, right? So people lose brain function. And then sometimes they go for physio or they go for special surgery, special treatment to regain some of those functions, right? And then the one I really want to talk about is through adulthood, whenever something new is learned and memorized. If you would like to read more about this, the link is at the bottom there, sharpbrains.com. Take a look at it, it's very interesting. All right, guys, evolving mindset. This is what I'd like to put out there, growth and adaptability. First of all, growth. Once you believe that you can improve your current state or upgrade your system, you have room to get better. So it starts with that belief that you can get better. And adaptability. There are some belief systems that will always be at your core and serve as a framework for how you live. So see this as your computer. That's the framework. And then there are times you need to install or uninstall new systems, new applications, new operating systems on that same core and framework, right? So your belief system needs to be flexible in order to evolve so that you can see opportunities in everything that you do. All right? And one of the ways to do this is to get comfortable in areas of your life that need improvement instead of staying in that comfortable space at what you're good at. Identify what needs improvement, what you can work on, and you can start to improve those areas of your life that need work. This requires an idea called perfect practice, guys. So they say practice makes perfect. You know, that's marginally true. I believe perfect practice makes perfect. You need to practice all the time as though you are going to get it right. And when you fail, keep going and keep going and keep going until you succeed. All right? And you know what? Take action. Thinking about something is not going to reap rewards. You need to be bold, take the steps, and if you do fail, see it as a lesson, guys. Okay, Identity 101. Some common setbacks. Not recognizing your qualities and achievements. All right? Your lowered self-esteem based on the relative truth of other people. If you go through, I'll put the link at the bottom of this video. I do speak a little bit in one of my letters that I release every Thursday about absolute truths and relative truths. Take a look at those and how a relative truth can be a limiting belief for you. I'll put the link in the description of the video so you can read it. It's very insightful. The next point is comparison, guys. When we compare ourselves to others, in my latest letter from last week, Thursday, I spoke a bit about comparisons as well and how looking outside too much can be negative for you when you need to focus on your own qualities. So yeah, when you compare yourself to other people, it means that you're always looking externally when you should be focusing on yourself and your own qualities. All right. Another one is believing that you do not have the right resources. This has been a problem so many times through so many people, and I've heard it in a Tony Robbins talk as well, when people, they say, oh, I didn't succeed at this because I didn't have enough money, or I didn't have a computer. And it's actually not having the right resources. It's rather having a lack of resourcefulness that stops you. So guys, let that sink in. It's not the lack of resources, it's your lack of resourcefulness that stops you. I've watched many masterclasses and many talks from the greats like Tom Bilyeu, Tony Robbins, Simon Sinek, and they've mentioned people who from nothing have become amazing because they were so resourceful. So guys, just a little fairy tale on comparisons, all right? This is a fairy tale called Three Raindrops by Terry Jones. A raindrop was falling out of a cloud, and it said to the raindrop next to it, "I'm the biggest and best raindrop in the whole sky." "You are indeed a fine raindrop," said the second, "but you are not nearly as beautifully shaped as I am, and in my opinion, it's shape that counts, and I am therefore the best raindrop in the whole sky." The first raindrop replied, "Let us settle this matter once and for all." So they called out to a third raindrop to decide between them. But the third said, "What nonsense you are both talking. It's purity that counts, and I am purer than either or one of you." Well, before either one of the other raindrops could reply, they all three hit the ground and became part of a very muddy puddle. So guys, just let that sink in about how comparisons, you spend too much time comparing to others, you don't notice your own quality. Be that pure raindrop, be that beautifully shaped raindrop, and be the biggest and best, but let that be your core, and don't compare yourself to other people. Alright guys, Identity 101, building up a strong self-esteem. Number one, you need to discover your values and be proud of them, as these values build up your level of self-esteem. Alright, these are part of the tools that you need to use to start to create that unshakable framework, that unshakable identity. Number two, you need to acknowledge your achievements of the past and remember how they seemed impossible at first, but you succeeded. Number three, use your self-esteem and these accomplishments from points 1 and 2 to fuel your next challenge. This new success will then become a new belief or an upgrade to your current system. So you see this idea that you're constantly evolving. You remember your success and your achievements and your qualities, and you keep on evolving to new challenges over and over and over. Alright, so once you adopt this idea of an upgraded system, you will always be prepared to learn. And that's a beautiful thing about this Identity 101 and this evolving mindset. Alright, Tom Bellew refers to the idea of not being good at a certain task yet. Alright, so that's a beautiful, beautiful word, yet. You need to constantly work at something that will make you better, and you will succeed eventually, because you're not there yet. Alright guys, and the idea that you win or you learn, I've heard this many times in my life, at past jobs, at rugby if I recall, high school. You constantly get better, you go out to win, but if you don't win, you need to see it as lessons as how to get better. So it's not you win or you lose, but you win or you learn. Please remember that guys, it's quite powerful. Alright, and another powerful tool that I want you guys to try to do is look back in the last 5 years at all that you thought was impossible and be proud of those achievements. And notice how many of those achievements were forged through a learning process. Alright, I'm going to break that down for you. Those achievements that you did, I'm pretty sure most of them weren't an overnight success. Alright, maybe you studied a postgraduate degree or an undergraduate degree. You didn't go to university one day and the next day get your degree. If you start up a business, if you started a relationship and you're now happily married, they started through learning about that person, learning about your career, learning about that certain life skill at university, and eventually through that learning process you succeeded. Now they don't have to be big things like university, marriage. You know, there could be something small, like maybe it could be something simple guys, really simple. It could be you building a shelf in your house. You know, you might think it is not a skill, but some people really don't know how to do that, and it is a powerful thing. I remember when I was in high school, one of my ex-girlfriend's moms, she actually put up shelves at her place, and I remember how proud she was. And looking back now, I'm thinking that is amazing, because I know a few guys today who do not even know how to operate a drilling machine. So all these things are achievements, guys, and I need you to remember that no matter how small or big they are, they form part of your success framework. Alright, guys. So you need to take back the power of your life through your belief system. You need to remember this. It is your decisions, not your circumstances, that determine the state of your life. So that delves in a little bit to Tony Robbins' quote about it is your resourcefulness, not your resources, that determine your outcome. Right? So your decisions, not your circumstances. Remember that. Different decisions mean different results. So if you've been making the same decisions all the time and getting the same undesired results, guys, you need to change your mindset, Change your framework, make different decisions, and you will get different results or outcomes. Remember this, your decisions can change at any time, especially when you stop seeing your life through the lenses of the victim, where life happens to you. We've spoken about this a few times during this masterclass, where life happens to you instead of for you. You need to take away those victim glasses and see life is happening for you. Be the opportunist all the time. Alright guys, learn from your mistakes. See them as a set of guidelines for what not to do in the future. Alright, you're learning. You may have heard that Thomas Edison, he did hundreds or 1,000 light bulbs before he got a successful light bulb. And he said what he learned was, I can't remember the exact number, but he learned 100 ways of how not to do a light bulb, or how not to make a light bulb, right? And he kept on going 100 times, or whatever that number was. He kept on going, seeing each one as a step to not take, different glass, different filament, until he eventually figured out that there needs to be a vacuum in that bulb for it to work. So he learned all those failures before, he learned what not to do until that light shone. Alright guys, you need to have a strong self-esteem. I've mentioned this before. Your self-esteem is very strong, and it needs to be based on a set of core beliefs, who you really are, not some things that you're comfortable in. Really, really go look at your qualities, what you're good at, and take on new tasks, right? Build up your self-esteem. You know what? A little bit of personal thing here. I was always shy to talk to a girl, always. And it wasn't until I was in my first year of university that I broke that belief that it was impossible to talk to a girl. I remember I walked on the bridge at the Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture at UJ, and I just walked up to this beautiful girl and I introduced myself, and it was then that I realized the hardest part of that whole task is saying hello. That's it. And I strengthened my self-esteem. This belief that I had from school that I wasn't good enough, and I was overweight, and all these things, and my speech impediment were not qualities that a girl wanted. They became limiting beliefs, and I broke that self-esteem. I broke that limiting belief, and now this is just one area of my life where I've made success, but it's not an issue for me anymore. That confidence I have has given me the ability to speak up in public, to do this masterclass when I've got a history of a speech impediment. I'll go to any girl, and if I think she's good looking and if I want to date her, I'll ask her out. And it's that idea of having a strong self-esteem that becomes an unshakable thing for me. Like, I broke through that. What can I break through next? You are always in control of you guys. It's beautifully how those two tied in together. Once you realize that you are in control of you and not other people, what other people say, it changes everything, guys. It changes absolutely everything. Your outlook on life, the steps you take, your mission, your vision, all those things change because you become the master of your own life. And guys, the only time you should look back, or look externally rather, is for feedback. Don't look for validation, look for feedback, please. Alright guys, so being in control of you, what I spoke about, goes a bit deeper, right? You need to be self-critical as well as self-rewarding. How do we do this? Acknowledge your failures, but never diminish your own self-worth. Alright? It's okay to say, I made a mistake, I shouldn't have done that, but it doesn't make you incapable. It doesn't make you an idiot. Some people have this belief that they failed something, they shouldn't have done it, it was stupid of them. It was not. Alright? You didn't win, you've learned. Doesn't change that you are strong and you are good as a person. Alright? And when you do fall into a fixed mindset, you need to recognize this and upgrade your software again. Again, this is the idea of that evolving mindset. You will delve back into fixed growth, or you'll be in a space of growth and want to grow more or change things a bit. So that evolving, upgrading software always needs to happen, right? And praise yourself for your success, guys. When you do well, no matter how small it is, here I am talking about something that a lot of you might think is so simple, like speaking on a webinar or talking to a girl. For me, it was a big thing, and I'm proud that I broke through that. And I'm putting it on video now because I'm proud of it, and you guys need to see that no matter how small or big it is, there is value in when you achieve something that you thought was impossible. And guys, something else Tom Bellew spoke about in one of his masterclasses, you need to spend most of your time in a positive space. He talks about the 80-20 rule, where you spend 80% of your time in a positive mindset and 20% a negative mindset. It's a very, very beautiful idea. So you need to remember where you have succeeded, as this will encourage you to improve in areas where you need to win. And excuse this typing mistake, I can't believe I wrote that. I'm going to put it on the video, it's okay. Where you did not win yet. Alright, let's try that again. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so just to go back, I'm going to make all these slides available for you on the website. There'll be a link in the description of the video. Alright, so spend most of your time in a positive space, surrounding yourself by where you have succeeded in life, as this will encourage you to improve the areas of your life where you did not win yet. So remember that. Yet is an important rule, guys. It's so powerful. It just, when you say it to yourself, I have not asked that girl out yet. I have not finished that project yet. It just changes your whole outlook. It means it's still going to happen, instead of just ending on a negative note. Alright, guys. So criterion. A principle or standard by which something may be judged or decided. Alright, what is this? It is a frame of reference, right? So what is your frame of reference? Alright, what are you modeling your beliefs on? And are you prepared to shift those beliefs in such a way that you can achieve the results that you really want to? Alright, you need to become a warrior that keeps on working in order to succeed, instead of giving up after one or two tries. Alright, guys, in my 5th letter, as mentioned before, there is a little part in there about taking the time to enjoy the process, feminine versus masculine energy, just going with the flow instead of being rushed by the deadlines of life. So take a look at the letter. I'll put a description to that as well in this video. You can read it. Guys, I can't emphasize this one more. You need to have a clear vision that will help you base your decision making, that will be aligned with your new evolving mindset, guys. A vision is so important to know where you want to be at a certain point. With your self-esteem, you can then become passionate about this vision. It can drive you. It can be the driving force for you to just keep on achieving and keep on evolving and keep on moving forward and winning all the time. And guys, please remember something else. Remember who you truly are and create a narrative. Alright, so when you create a narrative, it's almost like a little phrase that defines you. Right, so for instance, for me, as time has gone by, I've become very passionate about helping other people. And if I had to say a narrative now, off the top of my head, I would say, I'm a truly caring and empathic person, and I want to change as many people's lives as I can. And I believe that I have the ability to do that. And that becomes my narrative. I work at this every week through different media, letters, webinars. There'll be interviews sometimes. I might share something that I've read or watched somewhere else. The idea and the goal is to keep on changing people's lives. It can become something small, it can become something big, guys, but have that vision, have that narrative, and make it you. Alright? And like I said, it can be cheesy, it does not matter. Alright? It is your narrative, it is who you are, and it is formed on a belief that is truly unshakable. Guys, have a journal. This will be helpful to see how far you've come over time, and it'll be a reminder of how you've made the positive progression towards your goal, and that you have not succeeded yet. Like I said to you in one of the previous slides, go back 5 years or maybe even 2 years and see where you succeeded in something. And your mind will do like a mental journal, remembering the first day, remembering a good day, remembering a bad day. And that becomes important for you to see how you grew. Each step was a growing learning curve until you eventually took away the not and away the yet, and you say, I have succeeded. Guys, it becomes so powerful. I know a lot of practices in coaching discourage people from reading their journals. This isn't one of those journals. This is purely a journal for you to almost map your process, map your progression. I do encourage you to go back and look at it. It can be a verbal journal, it can be a mental journal, a written one, you can draw pictures, whatever you're good at, guys. But it's important for you to see the process and how you have actually won and succeeded over time. Guys, that sums up the masterclass. I thank you very much for your time. I hope it has been insightful. I hope it has been enjoyable. And I hope that there are some tools you can take away from this. I'd like to close off with a quote from Elon Musk. I think it is very important to have a feedback loop where you are constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day further. Next week, Tuesday, there'll be something new. I'm not sure what it is yet. It might be another webinar. It might be an interview with someone. But every week, I want to bring you guys media, bring you guys something fresh, something new that can help improve your life. That is my vision. That is my mission. That is my narrative. And it defines what I do. Sometimes there might be something that might get a bit of a bad rap. Some people might disagree with something I say or with a point that I've made. That's okay. It's a learning curve. I'm open to the feedback. I'm open to getting better because I'm doing this for you at the end of the day. So guys, I'm signing off. Identity 101. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy this. Share it with anyone who you think may benefit from it. The slides will be available on the website. I'll make a link for that as well for you. With always, guys, signing off with love, MLLD.